Provoking conversations, voices from the top, engaging interviews, in-depth analysis on all matters around politics, policies and governance. Midweek Politics on Mainland 98.3 FM, bringing the right perspectives to everything politics.
Politics now big business.
You're very welcome. It's a midweek politics live on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. I want to believe your day has been going well, except a Chelsea fan. They got badly beaten yesterday by their London rivals Arsenal, 5-0 at the biggest defeat for Chelsea in the Premier League era. Well, you have to wait till 6 p.m. We'll digest all of that on Sport Cruise on Mainland 98.3 FM, 6 to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday. But well, we're here to talk about politics at the level you probably would not get to hear it on any platform. Politics or political conversations beyond what you read on the pages of the newspaper or beyond what you get from your regular news outlets. We take you down to the nitty-gritty. We'll talk about the actors, the 5 W's and H that makes a news story. That's exactly what we break down on Midweek Politics. Myself and Said Fuad, who is making a return after 3 weeks injury. He's back with me on the show, and together from now to 3 p.m. I will take you through some key political conversations that are dominated the discourse in the last maybe 2-3 days. And I've always said it, politics in this country is like watching a series on Netflix. You have to just make sure that you don't sleep. If you sleep, you snooze and you lose those big stories. But of course, trust us on Mainland FM. We bring you the very best of everything you need to know in terms of politics, leadership, governance, and most especially as we as a media use our space to demand accountability from public office holders, irrespective of the office, whether you're a lawmaker, you're an executive member of the cabinet, the president, the governor. You have to be accountable to the people. Said Fuad, good to have you back. It's been a journey of 3 weeks now, back to back.
Yeah,
welcome back to Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you so much for me. Of course, it's a pleasure, back on the show to talk about politics, look at governance, and look at what has been happening. Like you said, in the last 2-3 days, Nigeria is a roller coaster of events. While you're still dealing with one
is popping up,
and so sometimes keeping up with some of these issues becomes an Herculean task. You have to, buckle up really to keep up with the way the events drop. So it's been interesting, really. I think our democracy is evolving. We have our issues, but I think the process of getting us to a working democracy is what we're seeing. A lot happening at this time, from politics to policies, governance, state, federal level, anti-graft agencies, inter-party activities. There's so much really to talk about.
Absolutely. You heard Said Fuad, giving you a click on what to expect on the show today, and I will always do it. No break, straight 120 minutes of hard political conversation. It's going to be crazy. Apologies for that word on the show today, because we've got loads of issues to discuss. Rivers State is back in the news. The governor of the state, His Excellency Governor Siminalayi Fubara, reshuffled his cabinet yesterday, and there are words that he decided to put or do away with the people that are assumed to be loyal to the immediate past governor of the state, and the current FCT minister, that's Iṛsᴛ Wᴇᴇ. We'll talk about that on the show today. We'll also look at the issue of the immediate past governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje. Yesterday, at the coalition of 36 states APC chairman passed a vote of confidence on Ganduje, and Ganduje said his purported suspension is African magic. That's exactly what he said. We'll also look at that issue today, but the big one, which, by the way, yesterday reports broke that the immediate past minister of aviation, Hadi Sirika, was picked up by the anti-graft agency yesterday in relation to the 8 billion Nigeria Air whatever, maybe scam, whatever English that was used to describe it. But again, it's a list of ministers, from the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation down to now the Minister of Aviation. It looks like more heads would roll from the last cabinet of President Muhammadu Buhari. We'll talk about that on the show today. So that's just about it. But I think we need to understand something. The case of Rivers just tells you, once the things begins to fall apart, it's always going to be difficult to make sure the center holds. Now let's talk about Fubara, because the FCC conversation would be larger than the other ones. Reason being that we have a sound bite of the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, Mr. Olukoyede, saying that he would rather resign than not see the end of this allegation against the immediate past governor of Kogi State. There's so much side forward to talk on that particular issue. We play the sound bite so you have an idea of where we're going to attack that particular conversation from. But let's talk about Rivers. The Rivers State governor, Governor Fubara, had decided to shake up his cabinet a little bit. The Attorney General of the state, the Commissioner for Justice, and the Attorney General of the state, the Commissioner for Special Duties, a couple of other commissioners that are alleged to be loyal to the immediate past governor of the state. About 2 weekends ago, by the way, while you were away, let me quickly do that. The APC conducted their primaries for the Guba 2024 election in Ondo State, and we had about 8 spokesperson of the 16 candidate and aspirant rather joined us on the show, midweek politics situation room, to talk to us about what their principal want to go do at the Alagbaka government house. Yesterday we started up with the People's Democratic Party. The secretary of the party, Barrister Olusegun, was with me on the show yesterday, and also the spokesperson for one of the aspirants, the former commissioner for information, former commissioner for youth and sport, former chairman of Ilaje local government, Honorable John Olamafo. The spokesperson was with me yesterday also. But we'll also open that conversation. But let's talk about River State. Are we going to see the end of this back and forth, side forward? It's just been one day. Last week, the House of Assembly actually vetoed the power of the governor
on local government elections.
It's crazy, side forward. Lead us into that conversation. Let's start from
that's the 5th time the House will be vetoing the powers of the governor on different issues. And I think the last one was basically on the conduct of local government elections, and basically what the House did was to veto the governor. And what they did was that, look, you cannot perpetually not conduct local government elections. In fact, the maximum you can do now is to extend the conduct by 6 months, while you have the caretaker chairman taking positions just only for 6 months. The elections have to be conducted, unlike before where you had governors sitting for years. So at the tail end of the administration,
they just conduct local government.
But again, we all know what is happening. The State House of Assembly, majorly loyal to the former governor of Rivers State, Iṛsᴛ Wᴇᴇ, understand that, look, when we're talking about political structure in the state, it starts from the local level. And so if you're able to put your people at the local government level, you are as good as holding in the political structure of the state, and that's the calculation, really. I think a lot of them, these guys, think that, look, it's time to conduct local government elections so that maybe people that are loyal to them will take positions in different local government. But I said something, and I'm not surprised that Fubara decided to shake up a bit. He's decided to rework his cabinet. I'm even surprised that it's coming now, because again, you ask yourself, how do you work with commissioners that are not loyal to you, that are not even for you? Because again, you are supposed to have executive meetings, council meeting, where you are supposed to discuss ideas, projects, policies of government and all of that. Here you have several of your commissioners that you did not appoint, and because political differences are not even loyal to you, most likely You have a meeting with them, the next minute they are talking to someone in Abuja.
Exactly.
So, but I think Fubara has his own survival instinct. He has his own idea of how he wants to survive the political onslaught from Abuja. When I say Abuja, I'm from Nyesom Wike, who has not hidden the fact that he's not on the same page with his supposed political godson. You know, Fubara has said it, and I think we didn't take that statement seriously when he made that statement. That look, there's something they are looking for, and that thing I'm not going to drop it. I still have it. And he brought out what? A green biro. Now, we know what the green biro does. He's probably one of the few governors that uses the green biro. And I think it's indicative of the fact that, look, this is the treasury of the state.
Yes, that's what we're looking for.
This is what they are looking for. And this biro is still with me. Again, I don't know why Fubara. I think Fubara should allow for the conduct of local government elections. And one thing is clear. I don't think these guys were able to outspend Fubara, because it's going to come down, narrow down to money. Who has the deepest pocket to spend? Really.
But I mean, it's obvious that the opposition in Rivers State is within the party themselves.
It's
within the PDP.
Yeah, it's just...
And I mean, you look at the redeployments. The Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Honorable Zacchaeus Adango, a senior advocate of Nigeria, has been redeployed to the Ministry of Special Duties within the governor's office.
You know what we mean by special duties? From Attorney General to special duties.
Do you know what that means? A senior advocate of Nigeria is almost like if you can't take your work away.
You have been downgraded to zero, because special duties is about what they tell you to do. What is the special duty?
You can't represent the governor on commissioning of projects.
No, there's even no clear function as special duty commissioner, really. You know.
The other one is, while the commissioner for finance, Isaac Kamau, has been moved to employment generation and economic empowerment.
Also a form of downgrade.
We're not saying all of these cabinet members don't have
we're looking
value.
at
They're always part
of governance.
Of course, they will be a part of the executive council meeting. All of that, they'll have their portfolios. But when you talk of high-ranking commissioners, a whole commissioner of justice was redeployed to the Ministry of Special Duties within the governor's office.
So what they tell you to do is what you do. You really don't have any clear function.
They brought him under the nose of Mr. Governor. And I remember we had this conversation about a year ago. Yes, about a year ago. Almost a year now that he's been in office. And I remember when the commissioner for information, Rivers State, joined us on the show, Honorable Johnson. One of the things he said was what you made reference to, that the reason why all of these fire down, pour petrol today ignites the fire is for the soul of the treasury of the state. And I remember you made that statement that for Fubara to survive the impending tsunami, then
that was going to come,
he would have to build a structure at the local level. And as a sitting governor, you have everything within your control. The state structure, security wise, forget all of those. Police don't report to governor. Governors have options when it comes to commissioners. Sometimes we've seen governors request for commissioners to be transferred.
Some even retain some
of them even retain them. So is this one of those moves for Fubara to either limit the power or the access of these influential commissioners that have been redeployed, or him saying you either stay or you walk away? What are we seeing inside for?
No, he needs to do some form of house cleaning. He needs to clean up his house, and he's going to be doing it in a very methodical way. It's not as if I told them to go. They didn't just want what I wanted to do. And as a governor, he has a right to reshuffle his cabinet. It's within his powers to move people around, because again, if he finds them not effective enough in their current position, he has a right to move them around. On the local government election, it's going to be a battle of and I'll tell you where the battle is going to come from. Now, this is the reality. He would also have some influence on who's going to conduct that election. That's the State Independent Electoral Commission. He's going to have his own influence. There's also going to be the battle of those that are going to conduct the election, the ad hoc staff, the state electoral committees who appoint, and the governor, has that strong influence to decide all of these things. So at the end of the day, the advantage for the governor again is that, look, he has that money to spend. Really, he's in charge of the treasury of the state, and I don't know if it comes down to money politics when it comes to conduct of local elections.
It is River State.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know if anybody's going to outspend the governor. And remember, again, when it comes to politics, everybody in River State cannot be on the camp of Wike. And I'm sure there are people he has shoved aside who are also interested in those positions, not because they don't have the money, not because they don't have the political influence. It's just because they are not in the good books of Nyesom Wike. So this is the opportunity for those kinds of people to rally around the governor to say, look, we can do the job. We also have we can also help you hold it down at the local government level. So what Fubara will be doing is to look for those dissenting voices, to look for those dissatisfied minds, disgruntled minds who had for years stayed away from the inner circle of government because they were shoved aside, to now bring them in. And that's why you can see that, look, people Nyesom Wike are referred to recently as political paperweights, dead people without integrity, are already rallying around the governor. You know, what's it called? Secondus is back. Even I'm surprised that Peter Odili had made a clear, open declaration that, look, I'm with you, Mr. Fubara.
And that is the leader of the party in the state.
Party, you know, so he's back. And several other politicians now. Emeka Ihedioha
he's resigned.
Yeah, I'm talking of Celestine Omeya.
Yes.
Celestine Omeya also. I mixed up that name. You know, has also come back. So these guys are already coming back, and what they are trying to do is to say, look, hey, Mr. Governor, you can actually build your own structure. And I'm sure what they'll be telling him is that, look, if you flip the coin and ask yourself, if Nyesom Wike was in your position, what would he do? He would do the same thing. And that's why you ask yourself today, is Nyesom Wike loyal to anybody? No. He's only loyal to himself.
We saw the drama that ensued at the zonal caucus meeting, where Wike came in, and the way former senator Senator Dino Melai, I wanted to distinguish in front, but it's the way he came out, the governor of immediate past governor of Benue State, Otom, was like, oh, you can't be here, you've endorsed the president for a second term publicly and all of that. But here come a Wike that came in when everybody, see, Wike is wondering, why would leaders of the party that are even serving governors, they've actually sat down before you came in. So the conversation is this: where does Wike lies? If it's caucus meeting, not even the general meeting,
the most senior caucus meeting of the party,
the top of the 5 inner meeting of the PDP, having meeting with them, and you expect that as an opposition party, you should have strategies, and I'll make you tell the other, tell Nigerians that, hey, if this party in power is not giving you what you deserve, we can actually make you feel better. At the end of the day, side forward, before we leave Fubara, is he winning the battle? You talked about the fact that he will need to develop a lot of thick skin and then build his own maybe empire. I'm always very careful when it comes to the issue of saying politicians have political empire. Is just a show of unnecessary power that they've gathered around themselves. Is he winning the battle?
No, the end justifies the means. Okay, I can't say whether it's going to win or not. And because winning the battle, he's still winning the battle. Because I'm sure that in the minds of those that are working against him, they want him out of that office. So if
how much does he need those public endorsements from Celestine Omeya, from former Governor Peter Odili, from some really big PDP bigwigs, even at the national level?
You know, politics,
that particular vote of confidence, how far would he go on?
There's perception management when it comes to governance. You know, the perception that you have these guys with you will also help. There's a way it rubs off positively in stock of what is happening. So when they look at past governors, strong past governors, top politicians who are saying that, look, Mr. Fubara, we are for you. When it comes to perception management, you know, as to the capacity of Fubara to be able to weather the storm and survive it, it's a very good one for him. The fact that people can openly come out and declare for him, so that's a very good one. That, you know, at least he has some level of political structure still standing with him and telling him to take charge and become the governor that he was elected to be. But again, when it comes to winning the battle, he has a long walk to his freedom. You know, because whether we like it or not, we know the nature of Nyesom Wike. Former governor of Ekiti said it, Fayose, that look, he's not going to back down. He continues to come at you. He'll continue to fight you. And I don't think the former minister has hidden the fact that, look, this is a battle he's going to go to.
He said it. He said if he loses his political structure and stronghold, where will he go back to?
So he's determined not to lose it. And I think it's going to be a continuous battle in Rivers State. The sad part of that battle is that it's real governance and will continue to suffer. You know, but again, you know, I wish Mr. Fubara well. I'm not from
in
Rivers
his
State
quest to
survive, political survivor, basically. And I see him as a man who I think understands his own strategy. He might not be the most vocal governor because you don't see him throwing those things once
Is
in
it
a while.
learning on the job? I've seen a lot of first-time governors, got into office and they show that we're really prepared for this.
Let me ask
We
you a question.
understand that.
Why was Fᴜʟʟ the choice for Nyesom Wike?
I mean, even Wike said it, that you should be worried or you should be scared about people that don't talk. And he made direct response.
With all of the options available for Nyesom Wike,
There were a lot of options.
So why did he choose a Fᴜʟʟ?
I mean, we can't deny the fact side for her that politicians or maybe outgoing governors would always want to have a safe place. Remember, before this whole FCC issue started with Yaya Bello, there were rumors that there's how do I put it now, a luxurious apartment within the Kogi State government house that was reserved for Yaya Bello, ex-governor's lodge. That's what they called it. And then I remember I spoke to one of the very strong ally of Governor Usman Ododo, and he said no, nothing of such happened. I think he will be joining us before the week runs out, actually. But in all of this, I think as a governor, you want to wake up every day and understand that you're in charge of your state, not just politics wise, but in terms of governance. And if you look at, you can't deny the fact that Wike did a tremendous job as governor of Rivers State. Commissioned about almost 20 overhead bridges.
He was a project man, yes.
He was a project man. That standard is what is going to be used to gauge Fᴜʟʟ going forward. So if you said, why did Wike choose Fᴜʟʟ? I'm not insinuating anything, but remember issues that came up during the primaries of the People's Democratic Party. The treasurer of the state, Fᴜʟʟ was the former accountant general of Rivers State. Just speculations, but if you can put two and two together, you will not put that thing in my mouth. But you put two and two together, you understand why I have to choose someone to cover some tracks.
What I'm trying to say is that, look, I think a lot of us are actually underrating the capacity of Fᴜʟʟ to function politically. I think that's the problem we have. The fact that he doesn't talk. He was not one of the most vocal and prominent cabinet members under Nyesom Wike. He was just somebody who was at the back end
and just financing the state.
Taking advantage, taking charge of finance. At some point they had EFCC issue, and he was kept in the government house.
And he still went ahead with the not even primaries.
Yes, he still he was able to emerge eventually. He participated in the elections and eventually emerged as governor. So what I think is that, look, maybe this crisis would not have escalated, gotten to this level, because again you have political godfathers that are just overbearing. At some point the report was that, look, if Fᴜʟʟ cannot even hold any meeting without the sanction of Abuja. Remember when Governor Fᴜʟʟ invited Atiku Abubakar to, I think, his first project flag off, and Wike said he's not going to. They had to change it. No. What he was even saying, apart from even Atiku was probably a very prominent one. He was saying that, look, he's meeting with my enemies, he's bringing them in, and the report we got, some of them confirmed, some of them unconfirmed, was that, look, there are even cabinet members who give like an hourly report of activities of the government house to Nyesom Wike in Abuja. Oh, this person has come, and then the next thing is that a call is going straight to the governor. So why would you host this person? Who are you talking to? It was almost like, look, as the governor is expected to give an hourly report of his activities to Abuja. There was even a time we heard that we can't sign a budget that exceeds a certain amount of money. That, yes, we got to report too. Well, confirmed or not, that, look, it got to a stage where if he needed to sign some money, he needs to get some approval. So are we saying that, look, we have a proxy governor existing in Abuja, why the so-called governor is just there, more like a placeholder? Again, these are the things we see. These are the kinds of politics we like to play. And that is why you see that, except for maybe Lagos, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, after leaving office in 2007, was able to create a structure that has produced governors after governors in Lagos without any of them being a major problem to him. In every other state, the relationship between godfather and godson has always gone this way. It doesn't even take long before they start fighting. Look at what is happening in Kaduna State, for example. It has started. In Benue State, Reverend Father Isent Aliyah and George Akume have started. So it's always like that, because again, our politicians are not so disciplined enough to say, okay, I work for you, I do everything for you. Let me go. Barack Obama campaigned for Joe Biden. 100. Yes. He was at the podium several campaigning for him, but I'm not sure he's there. And that was his vice. Yes, and that was his vice. So it's a form of endorsement. It's a form of You know,
this one will continue from where I will stop.
So that's a form of. But I'm not sure if we're going to the White House, for example, to tell Joe Biden now, which check are you signing? Who are you meeting with? I'm sure he did it because he believed Joe Biden can do the job. And I'm sure in his own private corner now, he's not interfering. Maybe on advisory level, he can chip in one or two things. Oh, Mr. Joe, you do.
You respect this office of the president.
Yeah.
Photos is king.
Here, like Mr. Fubara and his aides have said, it's all about the treasury of the state.
Now,
It's not about governance.
there's something building on the plateau. The House of Assembly members that were supposed to have been sworn in, just 9 of them were sworn in. I'm hoping to have the Speaker of the State House of Assembly join us on Thursday. He should, hopefully. It's basically about the fact that, oh, I'm a member of YPP. That's the case of Plateau State. If I swear in all of these people, YPP that I'm coming from, I'm the only House of Assembly member. The APC will form the majority in the house.
He's out.
Automatically, they will appoint a speaker.
He's going.
So there's a PDP governor, and the House of Assembly will be controlled by the APC. Look at what is happening in Rivers State. You said more than 4 times the House of Assembly had, you know, they vetoed the decision of a governor.
Yes.
I want to look at it from 2 perspectives. We've always complained that, oh, the governors have been in control of the House of Assembly. The House of Assembly cannot check the governor, check the executive. What is happening in Rivers, and what is also brewing in Kaduna State? Is this House of Assembly working, or politics of witch hunting?
No, it's just politics. If it was about checks and balances, oversight function, we would have said, well, it's a very good one for democracy in Nigeria. You know, where you have the State House of Assembly vetoing the governor for more than 5 times in recent time. You know, one will see it on the surface and say, oh, beautiful for democracy. Yeah, that's the principles of checks and balances we're talking about, where the State Assembly can function independently of the control of the governor. But we know that what is happening in Rivers State, is not about checks and balances or the State Assembly trying to function as an independent.
There's a power from above.
These are national State Assembly members who declared publicly their loyalty to Nyesom Wike. They didn't. If they were even as decent enough to have hidden all of that part of themselves, no, they came out publicly. You understand? They even sang on your mandate we shall stand.
They did.
So we know where all of that is coming from. But like I said, you know, I think Fubara understand. If he doesn't even understand how to play the politics, I'm sure there are people who are already telling him how to play it. Now look, this is what you're going to do, and there are a lot of case studies for him to work with. You understand? There are a lot of people who can.
I'm sure Fubara is going to be.
As the governor, this is what you can do. This is what you can do. This is what you can do.
I'm sure Fubara will sit back and maybe watch the video of where Fayose told him that, hey, if you want to build any alliance with Wike, he would not give you the goat and release the rope. He will hold on to the rope anywhere the goat is going.
But let me tell you about that analogy. I remember that you know, I was having a political conversation years back with my grandfather. And he said that one of the problems with the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo was that, look, he doesn't wait to get the goat before removing the rope from the neck and giving it to the person that brought it. So he was always too vocal about what he was going to do when he becomes president. And so that worked against him a lot of times. You understand? You know, Awolowo will tell you that, look, if I become president, I will jail you. And that person will sit back and make you.
I watch you.
You know himself. You know the case of Awolowo and Abiola. When he told him that, look, I'm going to investigate the ITT contract, the so-called famous international fictive of, you know. So and Abiola will sit back and say, "You become president."
Man, watch you. Man, you look up.
So and that was not just not only ITT alone. Severally, he would say, "Look, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this." So people felt that, look, he was too vocal about his plans. But you know, there are some people like me. Yorubas will say, "See your way, you bati tekuda."
So
there are people who enjoy your shenanigans, tolerate you, keep quiet, allow you to do whatever you want to do. But let me just have the power.
Once the power comes, you would understand what it means.
So if you talk about giving, if I say talking about, it will give you goat and see the rope. What I think if Fubara had done is to do, let the goat come first.
I have the goats now.
The strategy to remove the rope,
leave me and him.
Leave that to me, and that's what we're saying.
Okay. Rivers State would always be in the news, whether for the right or for the wrong reason. But this time around, the executive governor of the state, His Excellency Governor Siminalayi Fubara, had reshuffled his cabinet lightly, redeployed
It's a special ministry now.
They want to commission. Let's see. I will keep our fingers crossed.
Special duty. It's a special ministry. Special commissioner.
Okay, we'll move on from River State. In case you're just tuning in, this is Mainland FM and this is Midweek Politics. I will get to do this every Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. And of course, we have loads of other political programs. Current affairs program from Sunday 6 to 8 p.m. Political Roundtable. Mondays through Friday, there is always going to be Situation Room 4 to 5:30, and of course Midweek Politics. So we've got load for you. We'll keep our fingers crossed. We'll keep an eye on whatever is happening in River State at the moment. But there are insinuations that those two keep our cabinet commissioner for finance and commissioner for justice are perceived to be loyal to the immediate past governor of the state. So Said said it is not the House of Assembly at work, it is witch hunting. Let's move to UFCC. And as a little kid growing up, one of the things my mom would always tell me is that you can be alleged for doing anything. Before I ask from you, I will defend you first. So when I now put you inside and ask you, did you do it? But anytime you have anything to soil your name that has to do with not being accountable with public funds, my mother will say you're on your own. So when I was doing politics in school, one of the things I've always told my ex-coach is that at the end of the day, my colleague, you'd have to understand that when you leave office, posterity would always judge you. People would have what to say in support of what you've done or to criticize you for what you did not do.
Your work will speak for you.
I will play a sound bite now, and the voice you get to hear is the voice of the chairman of the EFCC, Mr. Oᴘᴇᴜ.
I think the Eli should be called a pastor. He's a pastor actually.
Yes, he is. Yes.
I have a friend who said she had actually attended one of his church sessions. And he's a fantastic pastor.
Side forward updates. The EFCC chairman, pastor. But let me just say, Oᴘᴇᴜ made a statement yesterday in respect to the refusal of the immediate past governor of Kogi State. He called himself then GYB, Governor Yaya Bello.
The White Lion.
Yes, the White Lion. And then, what a contradiction. You look at the logo of the EFCC. So the lion is hiding and the eagle is hunting the lion. They always say the lion is the king of the jungle. But when the jungle is set on fire, the lion would also be on the run. Let's see how far all of these shenanigans and the dance of shame would go. I'll play you the voice of Mr. Oᴘᴇᴜ, the chairman of the EFCC, what he said yesterday about Yaya Bello's continuous decision to be hiding and not turn himself in. Listen to that one. Would come back, side file, will break all of that into the tiniest details, and we still have Ganduje also on the menu. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM. This is Midweek Politics. I will play you the insert, and when we come back, we continue with the show.
It's easy to bring normalcy and redecorate. It's more difficult.
The general elections in 2023 have created conversations and consequences that will live with us for years to come. From the executive to the judiciary, legislature, media, and the people, organized labor, and civil society organizations, issues that will continue to shape the future of our country needs continuous probing and interrogation.
I see the greater objective for the party, and let me tell you, I've told the PDP in some locations that, gentlemen, be careful. Better men have founded parties that have gone into oblivion. Where's the party of Awolowo? Where's the party of Azikwe? Where's PRP of Rimi? Political parties must be nurtured, they must be reinvented, they must be true to their own
Join Okoyemi and Said Fuad on Midweek Politics every Wednesday 1 to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM for thought-provoking conversations, voices from the top, engaging interviews, in-depth analysis on all matters around politics, policies, and governance. Midweek Politics on Mainland 98.3 FM, bringing the right perspectives to everything politics.
Politics now big business.
Udu, was this superstar? There's cashier, the government house cashier, the guy that was bringing the billions. I'm so passionate about to create for us to move forward in this country. a sitting governor because he knows he's going. You move money. I mean, the particulars of offense is there. It's before court. Go and check it. Apply for our processes, please. You will get some of these particulars of offense there. Move money directly from government to build the change. Use it to pay the child's school fee in advance. In advance. Dollars. How much? 70 what?
Total is over almost 800.
In dollars, yes. In dollars. $72,000. $720,000. Sorry. $720,000 in advance. In Nigeria that he was going to leave government house. In a poor state like Kogi. I want me to close my eyes to that. Under the guise of saying I'm being used by who? At this stage of my life, used by who? By who? For crying out loud. I assumed office here. I didn't initiate the case. I inherited the case file. I called for the case file. I called for the report, and I said, look, there are issues here. Do you know on my honor, I put a call across to him, which ordinarily I'm not supposed to do, just to honor him as a governor, as a immediate past governor. Sir, there are issues. I've seen this case file. Can you just come? Let us clarify these issues. I'm under camera. He said, sir, I thank you, my brother. I know, but I can't come. There's one lady, I don't know what her name is. That she learned, she had said, she has surrounded the FCC with over 100 journalists, to come and embarrass him and intimidate him and all kind of stuff. I said, okay, if that is your fear, I'm going to pass you through my own gate, special man's gate. You will come to my floor. We will accord you that respect. I will invite my operatives. They will come and interrogate you or interview in my own office. What could be more honorable than that? In my own office. To allay the fear. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. You know what he said? But can't they come to my village? That's what he told me. Can't they come to my village to come and say, I told you. He also got to, he sent a message to him. My director of the investigation sent a message to him. Some people say we are handing him, we are harassing. Let's be fair on this. Look, we need the FCC. We need the institution to survive. We need this institution to survive. I'm telling you. So many victims that we have wiped tears of their eyes. People that they have swindled and all of that in their millions. How much are we going to say? Every day we keep recovering money for victims. Every day. In my 6 months, we have recovered close to 120 billion.
To bring normalcy and redemption.
Welcome back to Midweek Politics on mainland 98.3 FM. We get to do this once a week, 1 to 3 p.m. 120 minutes straight side. Fad and I, you've listened to the first conversation we broke into today, which was the cabinet reshuffle for the Rivers State governor. Well, breaking news says that the recently redeployed Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General of Rivers State, Zacchaeus Adango, SAN, that was redeployed to the Ministry of Special Duties within the government house, has resigned his appointment as a commissioner in Rivers State. We talked about it. You move from Attorney General of the state down to Commissioner for Special Duties within the governor's house, governor's office. That's, don't disrespect to the people holding that post, but I mean, is a massive fall from grace to wherever you want to fall into. Now let's talk about the FCC matter. You just heard the chairman of the FCC, Mr. Mɪᴅ talking about the fact that he personally reached out to the immediate past governor of Kogi State. In fact, I watched breaking yesterday afternoon that the lawyers, or part of his lawyers in court, told the judge that the reason why the client is not coming out is that he's scared he will get arrested by the FCC. The FCC chairman also talked about the fact that when he spoke to Yahya Bello is alleging that a certain senator had gathered around the FCC office over 100 journalists to maybe it's Natasha Akpoti. You never can tell. Of course, we knew what happened. In fact, after Natasha's election, when she got her mandate back, Governor Yahaya Bello sent her a message, and Natasha responded and said, "Don't wish me well. You kept me under house arrest when I was contesting against you. So leave my space." How much of a significant level would this case, whatever happened eventually, whether they pick Yahaya Bello or he turns himself in, how significant is the EFCC's professionalism in handling this case? Like you said, there's been a lot of propaganda. I'm seeing videos, even people are doing voodoo, people are visiting shrines now to invoke their gods and say Yahaya Bello must not be witch hunted, his hands are clean, this and that. How significant is this for the EFCC side forward?
Well, look, I'm sure Pastor Lukoyede, on his desk and on the desk of the EFCC, there will be more than 100 files of politically exposed persons, governors, former ministers, senators, politicians generally, if not about 1,000 of them. And like I said earlier in the morning with Sandra Okoyemi, he has to pick his battles. But the reality is that, look, he cannot prosecute all of these cases at the same time. I'm not making brief for him, and I'm not speaking for him really, because there are people who have now said, "Oh, what about this case?" So that, Okoyemi, if we decide to begin to list cases, we will not leave this studio and will not get anywhere. And I understand that maybe as the new FCC chairman, he's looking at the whole thing and I'm saying, look, where are the low-hanging fruits, the ones that the quick wins that can come from it? Because he needs those quick wins to solidify himself and make a statement
that the new sheriff is in town.
He needs that. Everybody gets into a new office and you need those quick wins. And so I'm sure he would have reviewed all of the cases before him. Like he said, he said, "I didn't initiate this case. I discovered it." And he would have, okay, yeah, let me start with this one. At least this one, I'm 100% sure that I can prosecute and get some reasonable conviction from this one. So I don't see that as witch hunt. Again, when you do your job, okay, it's just like when we prepare for shows. Sometimes we have 10 stories to work with. We drop some on a scale of preference. Okay, which one should we? Just like when we come on, we do politics. There are several political issues that we can talk about, but we have to sift really. So I understand the idea of, okay, Yahaya Bello, Adi Sirika, Sadiya Farouk, let me just focus on these ones. Because again, let us ask ourselves, what's the capacity of the EFCC to prosecute all of the cases? The cost that comes with it, investigation that comes with it, the logistics that comes with it, and all of that. So, look, whether we like it or not, call it scapegoatism, call it whatever name, we have to start with one or two persons, at least to start at some of deterrence. And if Pastor Lukoyede and the FCC at this time think this is a signature case for them,
let them go on.
Let them go on with it.
One thing about Yahaya Bello is a very interesting character. When he became governor, and by destiny or by fate, whatever it is, Prince Audu died on the day of the governorship election in the state, before the result was announced. I remember that the member representing Ikeja Federal Constituency, Honorable James Faleke, took the APC to court by saying, declared me the governor because I was on that ticket. And that case gave a landmark judgment where the court says, no, individuals don't own the vote, political parties own the vote. So he brought Yahaya Bello into the picture. He lost in the primaries. And
he didn't let the party at some time.
Yes,
at some point.
Yahaya Bello got into government. He did 4 years, and he won his re-election. And while he was going, he called his own boy, Usman Ododo,
you go take over.
Come and do this. And it led to a lot of issues. The process of the primaries, key APC members in the state left for other political parties. But for those always asking for young people to get into office, Yahaya Bello was, as at the time he was sworn in, the youngest democratically elected governor in this country ever. The youngest. And a lot of people expected him to do more. As a young person, he should be versatile enough, he should be able to balance things up. But I must have passed through Kogi State more than 100 times side forward. And each time, so my client was supposed to pick me up at Lokoja. I was at Lokoja around 5 p.m. 5 p.m. broad daylight. I've never been scared of staying in a place like I was that day. Broad daylight, 5 p.m. If at the end of the day, Yahaya Bello turns himself in, or the FCC picks him out, however, how bad would the situation be for Yahaya Bello? the middle past governor of the state, APC presidential aspirant. Remember when all of the progressive governors came out to say that they've endorsed a southern president, at the end of the day, collapsed the party secretariat, his campaign secretariat,
when he eventually
President
lost.
Tinubu and all of that. But how bad would this be
But
for Yahya
people,
Bello?
for people who rated him so highly, I think whatever has happened in the last few weeks would have rubbed off negatively, seriously on his image, the perception people have about him, and a lot of people are still missed the process of
Fayose walked into EFCC, even wore a custom shirt.
yeah,
EFCC, yeah.
because these guys understand the lacuna we have in our legal system
And they-
to decide. And he's saying that, look, even if I don't get a conviction eventually, I'd have done my job by investigating the case and prosecuting it, and to the best of my ability. If the court now says otherwise, there's something I can do. We've had former governors who have been left off the hook. In fact, one
Audrey
of-
Zokali was sentenced,
and eventually,
but because of the jurisdictive right of the court,
technicalities, blah blah blah, and then he's left. He's now a free man. So, and there are people who have had their cases now for almost a decade,
and are still in the Senate.
and they are still in the Senate. And in this same country, we've had a former governor who got a court ruling of perpetual injunction never to be investigated by the EFCC. So anything can happen. You don't understand, okay? And in this same country, we've gotten former governors who were eventually investigated, prosecuted, and jailed. And in their lifetime, after just spending about 2 years in
They were
jail,
released.
they were released and pardoned
And they were welcomed back as
heroes
of
in their
course,
different
They
states.
said they are martyrs.
So, like I said, when I discussed with some of these, as you know, they said, why is he running? We don't have a structure really that can punish adequately when it comes to high-level political corruption. We don't have that structure. I'm sorry, because again, let us look at it. Since when the EFCC was created in 2002, okay, how many high-profile political
Have been
cases
convicted.
have we been able to resolve? What we have done mostly is the back and forth of investigate, if they take them to court, blah.
They do plea bargain.
Plea back there, or maybe plea bargain. Sometimes you don't even know what has happened to their cases. The cases have remained in court for God knows when. And then, of course, you have a complicit judiciary sometimes who gives orders and counter orders. So it's a cycle, a vicious cycle of failure, practically, when it comes to fighting corruption. And so, it beats the imagination of some of us that why is Yahya Bello running? The worst that could have happened was what happened to Willie Obiano. You turn yourself in, they keep you there for maybe 1 or 2 days. At the end of the day, you are presented before the courts,
and they grant you bail.
luckily you have a lot of money to hire the best lawyers, to defend you. You will eventually get a bail, most likely to be about, don't travel, blah 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 blah. Obiano, after several years now, I've been able to get a court order to return his passport to him. He can now travel on medical reasons. So he's still a free man, walking around, and this is a bailable offense. So that's why people are like, okay, why is Yahya Bello running?
Is that an acceptance of guilt? And this is what I mean.
All right.
When Fayose's issue started, he came out openly and said, "You guys should not rush me. Let me finish my tenure as governor.
I'll come by. I will
And that was exactly what he did.
The next day,
The following day, he went and in all of the lights and the glamour and the glitz, he turned himself in at the FCC office. And today there was no conviction. Whether the matter is still in court or not, we don't even know. But I've also looked at the mindset of typical Nigerian politicians when it comes to accountability. As a sitting governor, man, don't get my statement wrong. They call it workshop. You go chop. And then yesterday I was talking to a colleague and I said, the moment you become a governor in this country, you don't need to steal
of course.
for the rest of your life.
You
don't need to steal.
You are made. The system opens it up for you, really.
As a governor, the connect you would make, perhaps the people you gave contract and they delivered, they haven't. You are, for the rest of your life, you're supposed to be okay.
At least you are made.
So when you look at allegations of over 80 billion, we're not talking of River State that's got huge IDP and revenue.
The pastor said a very poor Kogi state.
We've also,
with due respect to
we're not
people
talking of Lagos. We're not talking of state that have huge turnover.
revenue. Yeah.
I look at Kogi State, a state that is bordered by more than almost 10 states in Nigeria, from Edo to Nasarawa to FCT
Very
to
strong.
Benue. It's a mouse game last. The FCC said how long would this rat race last? And It's Nigeria.
If the Binance guy, that's why being
Could escape a private.
he's still in the country. There are people who say that, look, would he remain in the government house till eternity? Because again, you have the governor who the EFCC chairman is indicting as to interfering with the process of preventing justice, interfering and all of that. Because what the EFCC chairman said was that, look, they were there to pick him up. The governor came in and then, of course, drove him out of that place. And because the governor has immunity today, it doesn't mean tomorrow he's going to have the same immunity.
Was that an abuse of office?
Of course. Look, if truly he came in at that occasion to take a baby.
We saw videos of when he drove into the premises.
He drove in, but we didn't know what happened eventually. He drove out.
We don't know what was in the content of the container.
The container or the vehicle and all of that. But if truly what he did was to get into that place to take a below out, that's an abuse of office. That's also interfering with the judicial, a legal prosecuting process and all of that. So I understand why Pastor Wᴇᴇ is telling him that, look, today you have immunity, tomorrow you won't have it. You have the same immunity again, and then we're going to hold you to account. But that's a story for another day. For Yahya Bello, I don't know what he's trying to achieve really, unless maybe there are his lawyers. Because again, the FCC has now served the lawyers the entire case file.
So you would not say you didn't get
this is what we are charging him for and all of that. But maybe his lawyers are telling him that there's an opportunity within the legal system
that you can explore.
Just buy time. Will know what to do, and eventually you'll be left off the hook. You probably would, because again, we have precedents of it has happened before. Something was explored by Mr. Peter Odili for him to get a court ruling that, look, never up till now is still one of the wonders of the world. For a court to rule that, look, this man must never be tried, must never be investigated, don't even go near him, just leave him, let him go, and he's a free man today. So maybe Yahya Bello's people have told him that the opportunity is still there, find a way to buy time, evade arrest while we continue. And that's what Pastor Wᴇᴇ is saying, that look, you can't even be making cases in court when this man is not even available. So he's somewhere and then filing different, and that's why we talk about the judiciary. Okay, I mean, their role in all of this fight against corruption, because in fighting against corruption, okay, I mean, it cannot be the FCC alone.
And there's been a lot of conversation around the government creating or setting up a special court to try
corruption cases,
public office holders that have corruption cases. Is this another justification for that call? Even though the fear is that you're still going to pull out from the judiciary to fill at that particular space, but if there are, modus operandi can be spelled out to them. Hey, this investigation must not be up to 3 months. What do you need 10 years? Why do you investigate people for 10 years, for 7 years? What are you looking for? Are you gathering new evidences that even some of the witnesses may have died in the line of the investigation? I remember when the former governor of Plateau State, Pastor Jonah Jang, was investigated for the ecological reform. It took almost 10 years for that case, and then you know what that cost. But on this Yahya Bello's issue, is this a defeat for advocates of having young people hold political offices? How much of a setback is this for them?
Well, there are two issues you've brought up: the issue of the special court for corruption cases, and the advocacy for youths to be more involved in governance, to give the youth the opportunity to step up and take charge of leadership in the country. When we talk about youth, I think we need to define it a bit further. We need to be clear about the kind of youths we are talking about. We are talking about industrious. We are talking about youth with competent youth. We are not talking about political talk, because again, the definition of a youth is in the age bracket, but we're also talking about the mental capacity, the moral capacity of the youth we are talking about. We want the best of our youths, not just because you were once a political talk, you're able to wade through the entire murky waters of politics.
Come take power.
No, so it's not. When we talk about youth, when we advocate for youth, we are looking at the finest of our youths. People that can really go in there and bring that energy, that vibrancy. Those are the kinds of youths we are talking about. Not because some of these political jobbers, they're always around politicians, the big boys, and so they become local government chairman. They disappoint the youths. Sure, because these are guys who are
compensation.
It's not on anything merit really. So we need to ask ourselves: Yahya Bello becoming governor, what was his history? What's the history of Mr. Yahya Bello? His education, his background, what had been done before, even in the business
This
world.
was a governor that literally locked the state and prevented COVID-19
He said there
vaccine
was
to
no
be
COVID in
brought
the state, you know. So this was a governor too that had no respect for the opposition. You remember the case of Natasha Akpoti on the day of election. You went there and dug the road. And said that the road is on the day of election, really. And this has been a governor too who has been, you know, he calls himself the white line. There are videos of him, you know. It's just when he makes statements too, sometimes the verbosity that comes with the statement. So I don't think it's a very good representation of what we are talking about when we talk about youths in government. And for Kogi State particularly, Okoyemi, I think that's one state that has been a bit unlucky
with governors.
With governance. We are hoping that maybe there are going to be one or two changes. You know, I'm sure you saw the video of one of the former senators recently who wanted to just rub it on the faces of Nigerians that he has money. You know, he wanted to show us his fleet of Rolls Royce.
Is Senator Dino Melai.
Okay,
the last I checked, I think she be there before yesterday.
Yeah, and then what he did, and what he did basically, I don't know what he was trying to achieve with that nonsense, really. And what he did was to leave his house without anything. I'm sure he gave his phone to one person.
He just walked from the first Maybach down to the
those luxury cars. You know, those
it can't be less than 1 billion.
You know what he
wanted, those cars.
What he wanted to show us, and then at the end of the day, now went there to sit in one of them. He's not going anywhere. So if that is the mentality of
the leaders in Kogi State,
no, what are we talking about? So do you now understand why nothing gets done?
A friend of mine, of blessed memory, he stays very close to Senator Smart Adeyemi's house. So when Senator Smart Adeyemi was spying for the primaries, he wrote an article. That's this, my friend, he's late now. And he said one of the problems that Kogi State have had is not because they don't have the process of producing good leaders, but the people in charge of the process of producing good leaders don't understand what good leadership is about. That's a deep and I can't forget.
Okay, I mean, you know, anytime we talk about electoral reforms, which is the process of producing leaders in itself, because when we talk about electoral reforms, it also starts with party politics. Because at the end of the day, okay, I mean, we'd have to deal with the people the parties put out for us. So
you don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. And that's why if you look at the primaries that have been held so far, look at the crisis within the party. Because it starts with that. You know, we can't talk about electoral reforms, without talking about inter-party politics. Are they producing candidates and aspirants within the party? Are they following the rules? Who are the members of these political parties? When we rate them morally, politically, capacity to deliver on governance, who are the guys? Who are the guys playing politics? The best of minds in Nigeria, are they even members of political parties? Because again, we operate a gated democracy, where the best of minds want to stay away. Because you look at the whole process. Okay, are you going to tell me with what happened in the APC in Ondo State, their primaries, any decent human being want to be a part of that process? Let's be real with ourselves now. You know, fine person, a scholar, maybe an intellectual, would you want to go into that kind of process to start with, where candidates are saying that there was no election, they didn't see ballot paper, and the person that was supposed to be the chairman of the electoral committee came in on Saturday morning, he didn't even know what was going on,
because he was distracted with his white lions issue.
You might just came in and let me announce one person, people to go and sort it out yourself. So the best of minds in Nigeria would not want to be a part of a flawed process, because sometimes you have an integrity to protect. I can't be part of this, and that's why we keep producing these kinds of people, and that's why nothing gets done.
Well, Kogi State for one would need to find a way to maybe alter the system. We're not saying other state governors or state governments are perfect, but you look at what the state should have, or where the state should be, and where they are right now. In case you don't have an idea of what Kogi State or what we're talking about, and you're listening or watching us right now, maybe you need to drive through Kogi from Okene down to Lokoja. Maybe you can even go to the interlands, go to places like Adavi, go to Ogorimagogo, go to those places. Yes. You'd understand how governance has been taken far away from the people. 8 years of Yaya Bello, Well,
for Yaya Bello, Kogi has been very unfortunate.
They've been a bit unlucky.
Just very unlucky.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. Trust us. We keep you abreast of all of that. But the EFCC chairman, Pastor Lanikwe Kunlukoyede, has said that he would rather resign in his appointment than not see the end of this investigation. That's a weighty statement. Perhaps he knows things we don't know, and when the charge is eventually released, they will understand that truly this is going to be a long way. Yes.
You know, how do you pay for
$720,000 to pay for tuition fee ahead? That's almost 900 million. Side forward, 900 million.
I told
from a state like Kogi,
no people can pay for school fees in advance.
When you're rich, you're rich.
On the bill of the state.
Unfortunately, your life on Mainland FM, it's midweek politics. The phone lines are buzzing already. We pick the calls. I told you, side father, it's going to be a conversation that will belong to them. So maybe we should just take all of the issues so that we can have enough time to talk to our people. The next one is Ganduje. I almost said Ganduza. It's Ganduje. The journey of Ganduje's political up and down did not start today.
Of course, yes.
From his fallout with his former boss, the leader of the New Nigerian People's Party, Rabi Musa Kwankwaso. When Ganduje also got into office as the governor, he did everything. He had issues with his one-time deputy. It was resolved. The deputy speaker of the House of Assembly, there were issues, but he left office, became the APC national chairman. And don't forget, he lost his party, Kano State, to NNPP.
NNPP, yes.
Now, I'm going to ask you direct. The issue of suspension, and it looks like Nigerians are deviating from the main issue. The main issue for Ganduje is not whether it's supposed to be suspended or not. The main issue is that the state governor has set up a committee that has the Attorney General of the state, members of the State House of Assembly, to investigate the Gandu Gate. If you remember the video that was circulating during the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, where Ganduje was shown to be or to have received from huge amounts of dollars, that it was videos were out. And I remember there was an interview that the former president had, and when they asked him, and the governor and former President Muhammadu Buhari said, "It's the age of technology. Things can be tailored."
Can happen,
and I laughed. So I want to ask you, when the issue with Senator Comrade Adams Oshiomhole happened, it was removed from his ward level.
It started from the ward,
because that's where you register, and it's almost like top to bottom. The highest member of the party being the chairman, and the lowest being the ward member. But the ward suspended him. He approached a court in Kano, upheld the suspension. A court in Gombe, step aside the suspension. At the end of the day, the APC had to make that huge sacrifice and tell you, you know what, election is coming. I don't mess up our chances. Step aside. Yaya Bello is not. Ganduje is not a governor. Neither is he a deputy governor. He's not the president. Neither is he the vice president.
So he has no immunity.
Why does it need to be suspended before the investigation continues?
Well, there are about 2-3 issues here for Umaru Ganduje, the chairman of the APC, the former governor of Kano State. The first one is the battle with the state government, the corruption cases, and the desire and determination of the state to prosecute that particular case. There are other cases. I think there are even cases that involve his son and his wife. But I think they are also more particular about the Gandu Gate of those days, where a video was trending, where we had seen Mr. Ganduje putting some dollars in the Babariga and all of that. Like you rightly said, Mr. Buhari, as the former president, never thought it was real. What he even said was that, look, why would he have done that himself? If he wanted to collect money, he could have sent somebody and that, look, this is the era of technology, it could have been a Photoshop, blah, 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 and all of that, downplaying what had happened at that time. But we've never really seen any intentions to prosecute that particular case, even at the level of the EFCC. People have said that the reason why Ganduje have not been made to face prosecution on that particular case, because look, it was very close to the former president Muhammadu Buhari, And somehow he also has a very solid relationship with the current president.
Now that is exactly where I want this conversation to go to. Sometimes in this country, when people of political relevance are being investigated, it is what happened 24 hours to the primaries of the APC, where an endorsement, an announcement was made that the former president of the Senate, Senator
Ahmed
Lawan, thank you, was the preferred candidate of the APC going into the primaries.
Even the president,
exactly,
endorsed him, yeah.
And that was a statement that was read by Ganduje. Few hours after, all of the progressive governors went to meet him into a closed door meeting, and then he came out to say that no, he was misquoted, this and that. So you could say perhaps that he wasn't particularly, neck deep into, well, maybe from the party level you can see is the chairman is, but his relationship with the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, does it come to play here?
No,
does the conversation really fly in this place? Could this be political witch hunting? Could this be a case of, hey, I saw where your loyalty was built up to the primaries, now you have to go?
Well, Kwemi, again, whether we like it or not, again, when people say, why not this case, why not this case, why Bello, why is the EFCC focusing on Bello? There are a lot of people who are within this cabinet that have corruption cases around them. Why is the EFCC not investigating them? Bello Matawale, for example, Bagudu, for example, Umar Ganduje, for example. See, the reality is this, Kwemi, whether we like it or not, when it comes to politics, it depends on the way you play it. I think there's a little mix-up here because, again, Abdullah Adamu, was I think who you were trying to refer to. Abdullah Adamu was actually
Abdullah Adamu, that's the former governor of Nasarawa State,
and who was the former chairman before Ganduje now came in. I think if you look at Ganduje, he has not, I think somehow he has been able to walk himself into the warm embrace of the president. You see that there's hardly any day when you see Ganduje in public space without the signature cap of the president. In fact, we just watched him in Gombe State now at an APC event.
He's always on that
handing flags to chairmanship candidate of the party. He's always with that signature cap of the president. So he's somebody that has, even his emergence as chairman of the party, he was the choice of the other side. There are also elements within the faction of the APC
at the world level.
Members of the APC, some members of the not central. And they are
based on the balance.
The number two is the issue of, at least to make up for what he did not. Yes, it may be APC. Nothing about politics, if they see that, look, keeping gas,
APC state chairman have passed a vote of confidence on Ganduje, and when that was done, he said that he has escaped a coup, or he has survived a coup, and that this is Africa mind.
That's the party structure. That was why before Shomole was removed,
the world level,
and immediately that happened at the world. The question is, what does the law say about the removal of a party chairman?
Once it's done at the world level where your name was registered.
Meanwhile, these world people, these factions are still in court, saying that, look, we have
upheld the suspension.
So there are legal implications to these things, and I think the APC is already paying attention. So Mr. Ganduje will do these things. Of course, he needs to rally the support. He needs to rally, to show that he's still in charge.
Have we gotten distracted from the main issue, the crux of the conversation, which is that allegation of corruption with evidences?
Again, a bit of distraction, because again, this is a man that is facing too many battles from different fronts. The NNPP, they are not going to back down, because the information we are getting is that the Gandujia movement. You have the Kwankwansia movement, then you have the Gandujia movement. Are still neck deep in the fight to take charge of the politics of Kano State. Kano is one state that you have to take seriously.
As a presidential aspirant, you're not going anywhere.
So it's understandable why Kano is very volatile. Before the elections, what happened. Even during the elections, the fight, the killings, and everything, and even the legal battles, until the Supreme Court was able to douse the tension completely. But the politicians don't back down easily. Not even for a very strong state like Kano State. They're already working towards 2027, and so the battles are going to continue until maybe new elections happen, a new political order and structure in the state and all of that. But I think that for Mr. Ganduje to survive this current challenge, apart from the legal battles when it comes to corruption cases and all of that from the state level, if he still wants to retain his seat as the chairman of the APC, I think he needs to do more than just hoping to get the warm embrace of the president and the support of the president. He needs to look inwards, go into serious party politicking and solve his problem from home?
Well, he needs to. And at the end of the day, it's very funny that we're beginning to talk about 2027 already, but that's actually the reality. But my own is that if eventually he survives all of this suspension, all this hula baloo around, where does that place him in terms of how more powerful he gets within the hierarchy of the APC? As a party chairman, he's already really powerful.
Of course, yes.
But surviving all of this issue, the same conversation that consumed the very more experienced comrade Adam Soshomole, he was consumed because he was suspended from his ward. If Ganduje survives this one side forward, where does that place him at the hierarchy of the movers of shakers of politics in this country, not just within the APC, but even the general political conversation?
Well, I think it exposes him as someone who is really very vulnerable. He may not be as strong as it has been anticipated or has been
for you to be suspended. That means you don't have the control of your ward.
Two factions back to back from your ward, coming out boldly to say you are suspended.
You remain suspended,
and they are always all pointing to one issue: the Gandu gate. They keep talking about it. That look, he's not a man of integrity, and that's why I say that. Look, at some point, maybe I'm just my own postulations and guesswork. I'm not a politician, so I don't really know how the mind of the politicians work. But from the way we know they do their things, it may get to the point where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will say, look, I don't want this distraction for the party, because again, you don't go into serious elections not seeing injuries and fractures and wounds of party politics and crisis, so he may just look at the whole thing and say, look, this is the time to allow this guy to go. I need some form of stability and peace within the party, and if sacrificing him will bring that, he's going to do it. Okay.
Interesting conversation. I'm reading your messages on Facebook, but you can go back and still drop them. It's facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. On Instagram and YouTube, it's mainland 98.3 FM, and on X, formerly Twitter, it's a mainland FM. Join the conversation. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can get notifications, and when you have programs that you missed, you can go back to our social media spaces and watch them. We're streaming live. We're streaming this program live as well. So in case you're calling and then the line is really busy, I'll read your messages on Facebook. And don't forget, you can also text us on 09136000430. 0410 for the calls, 0430 for text messages and WhatsApp. I will open the phone lines now. It's midweek politics, and I get to do this every Wednesday 1 to 3 p.m. with Side Forward. And today on the show, we started off with the Rivers State Governor. He reshuffled his cabinet, redeployed two key ministers, Minister of Justice and Minister of Finance. Commissioner for Justice and Commissioner of Finance. He redeployed them, and the Commissioner for Justice said, hey, I will not go through this with you. He has resigned his appointment as a commissioner.
One man down.
We don't know what the Commissioner for Finance would want to do. But hey, it's time for you to join the conversation. We've also talked about the EFCC issue and Yaya Bello.
About the commission, the Attorney General of Rivers State. This is the second time he's resigning.
He resigned initially. He was part of the team that resigned, but he was
reinstated. Now he has resigned.
The governor was forced to reinstate them.
Now he has resigned.
So they were rescreened and reapproved by the House of Assembly.
Yeah.
Talk to us 09136000410. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Opayemi.
You're welcome, Mufoma.
Good afternoon.
Let me start from the Rivers State. I said in one of your programs that if he can manage himself for this tenure to end, he will show Wᴇᴇ. When you started, when Fuad was alerting all the people and giving him support that he can go on, one thing came into my mind that at the end of the day, Paravention, former governor, Rotimi Amechi, returned to PDP. Wike should just depart in slow. So the young man is taking his time and has to deal with it. He will survive every attempt that Wike is bringing on. But the issue of Yaya Bello, he called himself a liar. So why the liar hiding himself? If I've done very well one of the young governors in the history of Nigeria, but at the end of the day, he have never covered himself with glory. The fortunate one that he was paying ahead of a somebody has not say even graduated at all. When you calculate the money to naira, 900 million per me, and some people are looking for what to eat today, and somebody is paying ahead, and for somebody has not yet out of school at all. We will got it right, but for the issue of yes, I will give him kudos. If you resign with right now, I will stand from the court. The former governor needs to go to the court, and the court have to decide this. Where is the money? If it's not, if it did not stop money at all, why is it running up and down? But one day, the EFC, the court is taking place, and we will see what will come out.
Thank you so much, Ufoma, for joining us on the show. 09136000410. It's a long one, but let's see. The fourth realm and the judiciary needs to help this nation. The judiciary could push erring governors on criminal charges, but must not enjoy immunity by international standard, even by implication of the SAN from Ekiti. And journalists should also expose corrupt leaders. James Nwancho on Facebook says, okay, thank you for the greeting. To start with, I want to ask, what does it take for the EFCC or ICPC to approach a higher court and vacate that perpetual injunction by Rivers State gotten by former Governor Peter Odili? Is it not just going to an appeal court and vacate the order, or are there diabolical powers to be used to seal this injunction? Yaya Bello, as he continues to hide and do boju, is constituting himself as a public nuisance, which is strange for a former #1 citizen of the state. If the news breaks today that he's now in Kenya, I won't be surprised. I don't know why people like Daniel Bwala and the likes are criticizing the FC boss for the news conference yesterday. For River State, I expect the commissioner, including Emeka Woke, who was commissioner for special duties before now, to resign. Governor Sim should do more than this. Okay, that's James Ugbona from Oshodi. This is Michael Urias, and he says he does not put the EFCC chairman as a person who is impartial and ready to fight against corruption and apply the rule of law and equality before the law. Why would the chairman give Bello special privileges by calling him to use his own office for interrogation so as to avoid the press? The EFCC should avoid the media trial, but thorough investigation and persecution needs to be done to have more convictions. And that's Professor Mike from Chicago. Okay, let me pick your calls, or let me quickly take this one, then we'll come back again. The redeployment of the two is a strategic move by the governor, which will lead to them redundancy and being oblivion.
One of them are resigned.
Yes. What will the professor and Sam be doing with special duties? Since the governor cannot sack them directly due to the agreement he signed, he wants the two to resign by themselves. If you can recall, since Mr. Odili came out boldly to support Fubara had eventually become bolder, fearless, more decisive, and very vocal. Keep up a good job, Professor Mike from Chicago. Back to the phone lines. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good to have you with us today.
Yeah, my name is Malam Salah. I'm calling from Alapa.
You're welcome.
Okay, please let me tell Oga for anytime when you want to call this the name of this food passport. You understand? There are some yes, now there are some political appointments, even like crime Bible from Genesis to Malachi, from Malachi to Revelation. Once you are in that, or just for politician to tell you that he's a pastor or man of God, we saw some reverends now who are there after this. So let us put that title up. Just addressing as a
I don't want to call him a pastor. Okay.
Yes, now because that is it. Because that is it. Not that I don't want him to be a pastor. That the office is occupied. You understand? Not the pastor that you can. It's not the pastoral pastor. I mean,
okay, go on, please.
Number two. Now it seems like Ubara or sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Ubara.
Yes, it seems like he has a very good political advisor or legal advisor. By removing of this Attorney General, you understand? He has removed the issues of canine and moral of the State House of Assembly because he can't be impeached without investment of
the Attorney General must set up the panel and all
that. So that is a very good calculation for him. That is a good one. You understand? Now coming back to Gandhi. See, there is nothing like political witch hunt. I listened to Oga Forward completely his analysis. Yes, I agree with him as a serious scholar. You understand? But be that as it may, Ganduje has no any political value. In politics, it's a different text. Politics is a game of interest, right? So anywhere a politician is looking at, you look what is the
What
benefit.
is in there for me?
What am I going to get from? In time of Ganduje, have no any political value now. This is a man that will sit after in fact, the first time, second time, the first one was supported by Concord. The mantra of what do they call it?
Concordia movement.
In Concordia movement. That was what got. The second one, 2019, he lost. Right? Now, this is the 2022. He also lost. You can imagine.
Help us wrap up your thoughts.
Oga Ford.
Yeah, I'm with you.
His son, his biological son contested the House of Representatives. He lost.
He lost.
You understand? Somebody outside his local government comes from another local government and sponsors someone in that mode, in that district, and defeated it.
Thank you.
What does that tell you? Has no political value. So therefore, he read his numbers. This is number one. Two,
Let me wrap it up, please. We have a lot of
okay, I'll wrap it up. Yeah, I heard you saying that maybe I'll consider that with Sandra tomorrow.
All right.
You said that this vice president has is a master also a strategy. I disagree with you in totality.
You have all right. Okay.
Yes.
We'll talk about that tomorrow. Keep the calls coming
I
in.
like Malam Salah. He has that broad view of politics.
And it's always a pleasure when he joins us on the show.
Yes.
Hello, good afternoon.
So much respect for him.
Hello, good afternoon, Okoyeni.
You're welcome.
I greet you as well, Mr. Sideward.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Mɪᴅ Wᴇᴇᴜ. I'm calling from Ikeja.
You're welcome.
sir.
Let me take on ESCC and governor, former governor. I saw a video on Facebook, on social media, where some youth gather in Kogi. Are those people not from Kogi State? We the follower age, we the followers age those who embezzle our money. It is not only in Kogi State happening. In Abia State, before the last election, since Obasanjo became as the president, only one party has been really Abia State. Their secretary has been on a rented apartment.
Yeah.
Who are do that finding?
No, he's in public knowledge.
Ogun State has produced a president, speaker of the Federal House of Representatives. Nothing is happening in Ogun State. All the roads cannot affect any good road. Everywhere. So people will do us. People will cost Nigeria. Not the small thing we do them. Everybody are the same thing. This country will change until me, Mr. Jojo Omotoso, come on here and say, this my uncle. His salary is less than 500,000.
And he's living a life of 5 billion.
He has 3 children in federal public universities. He's spending 1 million naira per session for them. He has 2 houses. He has 3 cars. Where is the money for the
Thank you, Mr. Burjai.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I understand where it's coming from. If we say people are corrupt, most of them don't do these things in isolation.
And we embolden them.
Some of them we go to the same place of worship. Some of them we stay in the same estate.
You remember James Iborina, Delta State, when the people rolled out the drums for him when he came back.
Yes.
The person that was convicted for stealing public
for stealing your money.
And then you come back and roll out
the same thing happened to Jolly Yame of Taraba State. The same thing happened to Joshua Dariye
Reverend
of
Jolly
Plateau
Yame
State.
of Taraba State.
People they wore Ashwebi to go and welcome convicted politicians
who were pardoned.
Convicted. They were convicted, whether there was a pardon or not.
So they welcomed them.
They were convicted.
They rolled out the drums for them.
I mean, okay. So keep it on 09136000410. Okay, I missed that call. I don't know if that was a flash, but just try and also reach us back. That is texting, but let me pick this call first. Hello, good afternoon. You're welcome.
And Babonina,
good afternoon.
This is Dr. Moses.
You're welcome.
Dr. Moses from the Solom. Thank you very much. Let me mention the 4 names, and maybe they'll strike chords in your heart. Okwezili Adam Toshomole. which is secondary, and Iyorchakayu, if Ganduje likes himself, he should take the word threat very seriously. Because all these four men were pulled down from their words.
Exactly.
And it's like a threat. So if he loves himself, let him just get to go and settle everything. Does he have any value for Tinubu right now? Maybe. I don't believe that he doesn't have value. He won the second time when even Kwakwanta turned his back against him. So to win Kano is massive. So
And he can serve as a deputy governor and 8 years governor. I mean,
for 8 years, so what are you thinking about that? So of course, nobody is the champion forever. Just like Madrid will soon lose. For Rivers State. No, this is the beauty of staying put in the political party. I'm going to ruffle now.
I'm really struggling to hear you. We still have about 25 minutes to go, so you can still call back.
Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello. You're welcome.
I'll get you this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Battery. Can't miss this.
The voice is very distinct. You're welcome.
I get you. Brother Fuas,
I deal with you.
you know, so some of us, sometimes we don't allow emotion to actually rule our thoughts of Nigeria. Because Nigeria politicians are so rooted to the levels of you be asking whether there's another devil apart from Nigeria politicians. The way they treat us and all those stuff. But sometimes there is some things you will see, you will understand that there's other things fishing apart from what the media or what the Nigeria government try to pay to us. For instance, I read that, I may not be correct, but I just hope, I read that as at that point that the EFCC lined up in that Yaya Bello residence, there was a court order that stopped EFCC not to arrest what we call Yaya Bello. And as at that particular time, the EFCC has not obtained any injunction that vacated that stuff. Baba, the EFCC, because while I'm focusing on this area, this morning, I read and I still watch on my phone that the EFCC chairman said that even if it takes him to resign, Baba, then he don't come, then he don't go. And Nigeria remains. There was one that it was even DSS that arrested him, that they investigate the issue till today. We know here what
That was Bawa and Rashid.
So, Baba, maybe today. So, the truth is, the EFCC themselves, I am not sure what they are doing as we try to.
Hello, Battery. Oh dear. Try and call back. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Good to have you join us on the show today.
Good afternoon, that's what.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Payne.
You're welcome. Your name, where are you calling from?
My name is Suleiman. I'm calling from K2.
Mr. Suleiman. It's true.
Thank you, sir. In fact, I'm very happy for what you people are discussing concerning Kogi State today. I'm from Kogi State.
Okay.
I'm from Kogi State. I'm from Belo local government.
Oh. Where did you keep the white lion?
The truth is this. You see, Kogi State, sometimes whenever I travel go that place, I always picture my state. Because right from this state, when this state comes, I never see sign of government of, in fact, sometimes when I get to that state, I look at, do you still have government in this state? Because let me tell you, I traveled last year December. When I'm traveling, I follow a current site down to Lokoja. I am telling you that Ikare is even more attractive than Lokoja, the state capital.
The state capital.
To shock you. In fact, when I get to Lokoja, I look at it and say, look at my state capital. Since those governors, once they just come there, Kogi State have a lot of mineral resources. None of them look into it, okay, what can we use to generate money in this state to make this state okay? Whenever allocation comes from Abuja, they will pocket it. All our governors are big men. All the Kogi state governors they are big men. But the state is very, very, very poor. I mean, not pity them, honestly speaking. Any one of them, even the one the one before them, if they can let them come and explain how they take this state to this level, I will be very happy.
Thank you very much. I remember the video of the first lady of Kogi State where she was, seen sharing money in bundles. Like I think it's 1 million, 500,000, 2 bundles, and giving it to her aides, security details, and they were happy. They were, and I'm like, this is supposed to be taxpayers' money being shared in the name of it's end of the year. Take this. Of course, we saw this. We had the Senate president also saying they will send mail to some people. So it's not new. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
This is Dawla from Malaba.
Yes.
In fact, you guys are doing a great job. The thing is just that in this country, I don't really understand how we practice our own democracy. In fact, I don't know that the way we define it in Nigeria is very different. There are so much erroneous principles that we added to our own democracy here. It isn't just that. I wonder why EFCC will become a goalkeeper. In fact, looking at this gate, and the security men will not allow EFCC to come in. The only thing is, if we can just have a grant for all these agencies to be absolutely independent, it will make sense. Because EFCC cannot go beyond some limits. There are some orders from the board that they must not abandon. Even if the pastor in that job don't want to go extra mile, even they will set the limit. I don't think I said it, that there's political big ways that they cannot even tackle in Nigeria. That is why everyone is trying to be loyalist of Mr. President. So that when you actually embrace the one in power, the bigger power in the country, then whenever they open your profile by EFCC or DSS, 1 or 2 orders will come from behind. So what you cover of that? The Abelo is within the country. Where is it? Gandhi is behavior as yes, nobody. Imagine level alert, putting dollar inside the Babagari. What are we talking about? The person cannot do that and go scot-free.
They said it could be Photoshop or video shop.
It's Babariga. My guest said it's Babagari. I understand. Anyway. I mean, monies were allegedly kept somewhere. 091360000410. It's Midweek Politics, Wednesdays 1 to 3 p.m. on Mainland FM. Side Fad and I always come around to break into more details. Some of your stories that you've been interested in, I will be talking about it. They said Nigeria is not suitable for state police, but they like the main police to rig election. But Nigerians is suitable for breeding of election riggers. Okay. He also said, which Ganduje word are we talking about? Is it not the same word ESCO that came out to deny the suspension of Ganduje, saying it is the handwork of the NNPP? Okay, they all signed a denial to that effect, only for 2 men from the same ward to approach the court to secure Ganduje's suspension. Mr. Opa, what is the true position of things in Ganduje's ward, and why should he be very wary of his ward escorts, like Dr. Moses is asking, when they are all distancing themselves from his purported suspension? Mr. President seems to be quiet, which seems like a silent way of supporting Ganduje. That's James Ogbona from Oshodi. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Hello. Yeah, this is Olayola.
You're welcome.
Yeah. You see the issue, if you go back to and look at Kogi State very well, if you look at most of the local governments, their primary school education is like off. If you go all those either side, on Olamagoro, they even list most of the local government, and they don't even have a potable water. If you go to that state very well, and somebody just it's something for 2 million money for that.
And those are allegations.
It's not allegation. Let me just say, because you just want to do this. If somebody say he just allege, I can't believe that. If they didn't see it, they will not write the petition again. And that is the issue we are always saying that most of these governors, they cannot even take it within that state. They always do that in Abuja. where the civilization has already grew up. After they rule, after it, they will go back to another city. They know that people are there. The area can govern completely. They cannot even sleep there for 1 week. That is how it is. And it's not only, all of them will be governor for this country. Will be that. Now all of them, not the only. If the one will not be for Abuja, will go London, go to Nigeria. And so even go to the state today. You see how many roads come down to Agbado here. If you see those people that are living there, if you are coming side from Agbado, you have to see fast. You will bear one for Lagos, you will bear another one go.
Thank you. God bless you too. 0913-600-0410. On the show today, we've looked at the EFCC and the former governor, the immediate past governor of Kogi State. We've also looked at the governor of Rivers State that had decided to yet again, reshuffle his cabinet and redeploy some commissioners. Well, and one of them had resigned this afternoon, saying, "Hey, I'm not going to partake from this, from this grass to grass alignment." Let's see. Well, Ganduje, to be or not to be?
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Dr. Moses back on the line.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was saying.
Please just wrap it up, please.
I can't wrap it up in a haste. Just let me give my thought. As a matter of fact, I will be joining you guys in the studio very soon. I've been speaking with ᴏᴜᴛᴜᴜ, so you know what I'm talking about. With respect to Ganduje, he still has his value. Well, maybe he will be talked to by anybody, whatever the case is. But for now, let him just go and address the world issue. As for Kogi, I will not be sensationalist because EFCC so many times personally have been disappointed. Just within the last 2 weeks, they filed cases that were prima facie but lost them because of careless filing in court. Mohammed Adoke at the federal level and the Nimasa man, in Lagos here. The justice Ayokunle, what was it now? Justice that the Lagos High Court. One of the judges dismissed their case because they didn't file it properly. So what do you think they will do with the governor? They are judges as journalists. When they get serious, I will tell them. For Rivers, I will continue to say that. I dare PDP, whether at the national level or at the state level, to take Wike out of it. This is the beauty. I was saying that I will also say that with respect to Fuad. When you've been consistent.
Hello, Dr. Moses. Yeah, and I wanted to listen to that.
Dr. Moses does not want to wrap up early, but then nature has a way of doing things. Okay. Hello, good evening. Sorry, good afternoon.
I wanted to listen to that.
You will probably call back. Yeah. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Collins from Shomolu.
Mr. Collins,
you're welcome.
Yeah, sir, I told you the other day that each state has to go to their government house and stand there. Let them stop governance for now. Let them surround the place and say, let's stop governance for now. And have a blueprint on how we can work together and build a nation. Because we don't have a nation yet. We are just playing. Then after that, then we can now have we can now start having a good election. Because for now, I would have given suggested that when many Nigerians should come up and then register a party. That's after that too. Then we now see if you can throw all these people out. Because all these people you see now, PDP, they are finding it difficult to throw away Wike because they know it's an election rigger. These are bad news. These are not Democrats. These are people that has kept us where we are today now. They are finding this very difficult. You can see. So all those bad eggs, they are the people here and there making things difficult for Nigerians.
Thank you.
I'm not happy every day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Collins. Well, the way the rain falls these days, it falls on everybody. So the being unhappy is not be only you touch, you reach everywhere. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Midweek Politics on Mainland FM.
Yeah, good afternoon.
You're welcome. Okay. Your name and where you're calling from?
And the Honorable.
Good afternoon, sir.
Well, today, Dr. Mojo.
Okay.
I don't know. I want to ask a question. Is Nigeria becoming a country of comedy or what?
A country of what?
A comedy.
Okay.
For some time ago, I think the former governor of
Oᴘᴜᴜ, yes.
They created a ministry that the Ministry of Improvement. We need to ask questions about
Ministry of Happiness. Somebody said Nigerians are the happiest people on earth. I don't know. A lot of things are happening here. And the journalists are trying their best to put things in shape by bringing the public comments. Has it become a talk shop? Because after all we know, we can change. If I look at the currency and the economy, the naira, and the work the central bank is doing, a short measure to cushion the price of the dollar.
Hello? Okay. Man, the network has been some problem today. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Mainland FM.
A very good afternoon to the two better head studio.
Prince Wise.
Yes, Ireland.
You're welcome.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Amen.
Good
afternoon, sir.
Yeah, now in the morning, now in the afternoon. Okay, here we say.
Thank you, sir.
You see, I want to talk about the EFCC. That chairman of EFCC. For me, my impressed me. He spoke like a real lion. Somebody was calling himself lion and white lion last week.
He's one lion against one lion now.
And I saw a lion yesterday. He behaved like real lion. He said, I want to do this job. If they don't want to do this man, if I can resign, that is lion I'm expecting. I'm thanking God for that. You know, they want to appoint this man. I would pray for him. I want him to go to succeed. So people are saying, they are just, no. This man has the power to investigate you after thorough investigation. He next takes the court of law. And this is the way I have problem with all the previous government that will govern this country since 1999. Because it's the year 2003 when Ribati was the chairman of AFCC, I was telling them, let us have a special court to drag this and steal our money. A court that is like just 3 years. Look at the one now. Why you say, yes, yeah. The people tell me the case is pending. Don't you allegedly taking our money away? Like former Attorney General, more than 90 billion. Like the former Minister for Petroleum. Like all those. That is the disaster woman minister. All of them. We want our money from them. And I want to wear one trouser with my President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the CJ and Chief Justice of Federation. Whether the brother will care or no, I don't know. They must give us that special call. We need our money. And that's the
Thank you, President.
Our money from those who stole our money.
Thank you.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prince Wise. I'll still pick more calls. To the message, one day, one drama. Now, our case for Nigeria, that is from Olalekon Isaac. Okay, that is still texting, and okay, I've been accused of doing eye service by not reading your message. Okay, let's go on. I want to ask, can the corrupt fight corruption? What do you expect from a cash and carry government that forced themselves into power through the vote buying and intimidation? To ministers, to standing, to House of Reps, to governor, that is why this country is in a nightmare. Birds of the same feather would always flock together. And also loyalty for this government is cash and carry. Objection and mortuary. Okay, you've gone the ∞ Thank you very much, Dayo Dada, dropping his message on Facebook. You can also do the same, facebook.com/Mainland 98.3 FM. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Okay, I think I got that caller on at the network. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Please, you need to put off the volume on your radio set. Or you turn it off.
See it on complete.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Fuad.
Good afternoon, sir.
John from Ogba.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We're talking about the EFCC. Honestly, they may talk tough, they may act tough, but when it comes to prosecution and the judiciary, what happens? We have burden of guilt hanging on so many of the senators, even the governors, ex-governors.
that they have not been convicted. Are you saying that EFCC did not try their best? And you are talking about the special court here. The willpower to do that which is right is not there within our politicians. Are you with me? To do that which is right, even in the institutions that I have mentioned. Take the judiciary for instance. If a common man is boldly, on in the street, they will decide his case within one week or 2 weeks. Why? Yes, now they will get away with his case. You will be like waiting in prison. Why is it that when all these people get money, you cover it under, you give it connotations, embezzlement, misappropriation. You are not saying it is stealing, and then you see the lawyers coming up with all type of technicalities, and you are saying you need special court. Yeah, we going to bring people, all these lawyers are judges from heaven. So, but all the Nigerians know that we have to sit down and talk about where to go, what to do, what are recommended. Referendum, plebiscite, the common law by the people on the common stand, that this is where we want to be as the people, and that enough is enough. I've been advocating for this. But if we do that, we will be living in Alice land, in a dream world, in a dream land. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the show. More messages. Sal Smith Sally says, okay, thanks for the greetings. My take is on the current corruption case against the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Governor Yahaya Bello. My suggestion is that before anybody assumes political office, e.g. president, governors, senators, ministers, they must be forced to swear to Shango and Ayelala. Okay, Sal Smith, that was deep. That the oracle should strike them down if they steal government money. Without doing that, I don't see them stopping this stealing and embezzlement of public funds the way they always do. I don't think this Bible and Quran thing is working. God is too lenient with humans. That's why we take him for granted. Okay, Sal Smith on Facebook says. And also, the conversation are really good this afternoon. I enjoy what you guys are doing. Please, the EFCC should not just make this a media trial. They should fish out Yahaya Bello and prosecute him if found guilty, and if not, he should be allowed to live his life. Of course, nobody is stopping him from living his life. It's basically about accountability. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome to Mainland FM.
Yes, good afternoon. Let me conclude my thoughts in this way. I want Governor Dodo to know that for him to evacuate Yahaya Bello, he is a criminal too. Immunity clause might not allow him to be punished, but he is a criminal. But the thing is just that EFCC is just like a business bulldog, but we thank God they come back. Because part of their backing is what bringing all these revelations. They should continue to back. The executive are the one that removed their seats. One day, they will turn those seats. They will have a better democracy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We don't know whether it was Governor Dodo that he said evacuated.
I mean, the manner at which it was done, more like a commando style, just
But the thing is that nobody.
We didn't know whether somebody was taken out or he wasn't taken out. Or whether he's
still even in that same.
Maybe he's still within the building or he's everywhere. The FCC chairman said he was told on the phone by Abelu to come to his village and come and interrogate him.
What audacity.
Let's squeeze in one more call. Okay, there's been so much to pick today. Okay, we have some messages here that I would love to read. This one says, for the fact that Ganduje is still enjoying this level of immunity shows how bad the things have always been. For Kano to survive and progress, their former governors and politicians need to understand that the people are more important than their personal interest. Ganduje would be suspended eventually and Tinubu would do nothing about it. For this country to make progress, corruption cases must be taken seriously. That's Sunday from Ikorodu. Still on WhatsApp, it says, okay, this is live from Egbeda. Well done, guys. It's very disturbing that a governor like Yahaya Bello, whom a lot of young people looked up to, actually messed things up this way. I hope he turns himself in and it will not be a media trial like we'd always see. What happened to Orji Uzor Kalu? He was suspended. Okay, I'm sure it wasn't suspended. He was convicted, and the court upheld the conviction. As at the time he was upheld, he returned to the Senate and became the chief whip of the Senate, and he's still in the Senate. Okay, thank you very much. They're live from Ikorodu. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pᴏ.
Good afternoon.
Okay, this is Tayo calling from Oba.
Mr. Tayo from Oba, straight to the point.
Okay. Fight against corruption. Nigeria judiciary is the one destroying it. All the EFCC cases, if it were taken to American courts, the EFCC would get 100% conviction. But yes, all the cases, all the charges against people, they're discharging Asaba. The same
for the same offense
in the UK.
yeah, were taken to the British court and they got conviction. So judiciary is the one destroying. But I live in America more than 40 years now. I've never seen where a court is issuing any order that nobody can be arrested, nobody can be prosecuted. They'll be lying on fundamental rights. Please, judiciary is the one destroying fight against corruption. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's the last call we pick on the show. First up, before I say our goodbyes, I need to appreciate everyone that have kept calling since 1 o'clock, even before we picked calls. We thank you. And for all of the text messages on Facebook, we'd appreciate. ̀ṣọ̀mùíbdíòjàyé says, Ogun, Abia, Osun, Ekiti, and all the governors are the same. The former governors of Ekiti State embezzled Ekiti money, using it to develop Lagos by buying properties everywhere.
We don't know.
Okay. Now those are just allegations, by the way, but it's okay. Olalekan Nixon is saying, hey Baba, them they manipulate date itself, no dollar. Okay, was making reference to the earlier message that people should use Shango and Ayelala to.
These people can do anything.
If not seen a masquerade, I explained betting. I saw it while I was in school. Aside from that, it's been an engaging conversation on the show today. Please, we can't pick these calls anymore. Would appreciate you. You can join Sage Babalola by 4 o'clock in the situation room. I'm sure one or two of the conversations we've had here will still come up along the line. Of course, you can also join us
tomorrow. Open forum, open
there's open mic Thursday. There's open forum. There's also
room, so
Mr. Mɪᴅ Wᴇᴇᴜ joins me in the evening tomorrow. But aside for that, let's wrap up this conversation in a minute about Ganduje. And why it's sad to stay on Ganduje is the NNPP situation in Kano. Remember last week that there was a group within the NNPP so that also said the governor had been suspended. That was last week. Is this a fight to finish, or you think at the end of the day it will die as usual?
Well, I don't know about fight to finish because again, sometimes you see political realignment. When interests meet, Nigerian politicians have a way of realigning.
You think that can happen in Kano?
Nothing is impossible.
The governor was demolishing projects that were.
When interests meet, people have a way of coming together again to resolve their issues. Probably you just see one calculation that will bring up that realignment. You know, who says tomorrow a Ganduje cannot even leave the APC? If he feels his interest is threatened, and so
he leaves.
Again, we have a political situation where people move around easily. From APC to PDP, Labour Party, and APP. So because again, they are not bounded by any ideology. It's just about interest.
His interest.
So I don't really know about fight to finish, but I know that the fight is going to be dirty. It's going to be rough. Where it will end, I don't know.
Where it will end is what we don't know, but what we know about this one is this show had come to an end. It's an amazing time. This one is certain. It's an amazing time on radio. Thank you very much once again, Side Forward. And welcome back to Nigeria. All things being equal, Said Babalola will join you by 4, but before then, you have to join Kunle Daniels. Is the Buzz on Miller 98.3 FM, 3 to 4 p.m. And by 6 o'clock, we'll be back for Wednesday edition of Sport Cruise on Miller 98.3 FM. My name is ̀ọ̀pẹ́yẹmí Akande. Thank you to everyone that joined on all our social media spaces. And don't forget to follow us on facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. On X, formerly Twitter, it's Mainland FM. On Instagram and YouTube, it's Mainland 98.3 FM. And in case you want to store the studio line, it's 091-3600-0410. And then the rest of your day. We'll be back next week Wednesday for a fresh edition of the program. Stay out of trouble and bye for now.
chaos is easy to bring normalcy and redeploy.